doing? Welcome to this Pixelmator tutorial. In this Pixelmator tutorial, I am going to show you how to make an excellent text effect, and there's a few techniques that we use along the way, so hopefully you'll learn quite a few things, not just one. But the text effect that I'm going to show to you today is two-tone glow outline of text. You could even split the text, and I'll show you how to do that later. But there's, like I said, there's a few things that we do along the way, and yeah, hopefully you'll learn a few things. So I'm going to go to my tools palette right here, just as a coincidence, just as a point of interest. My project properties are 1920 by 1080, so it's just sort of desktop background size. So then I'm going to go to my tools. If your tools palette is not showing, just press Command 1 on your keyboard and it will show your tools palette. And I'm going to go to my paint bucket tool right here. Then I'm going to go to my colors. If your colors are not showing, Shift Command and C will hide and show your colors. And I'm going to choose this midnight color right here and fill my background layer with this midnight color. Now I'm just going to double click my layer here and just rename it background layer. And it's just good practice. It's a good habit to get into, renaming layers. It saves you, can often save you a lot of time later and a lot of messing around later in bigger projects that you might create. So then we're going to get the text tool, and again that's in my tools. I'm just going to drag an area out for my text. I'm going to type in 13th design. Now the first two colors that we use in this text and in something we fill shortly are the base colors of your outline that will be showing. So you don't have to choose these colors that I choose. You can obviously opt for your own colors, and but just the first two colors that you use will be the base colors that are visible on the final sort of final effect. So I've got this text here, and I'm going to leave it as this strawberry color. Yeah, I'll leave it as a strawberry color. And I'm going to go to my text layer up here, right click, and convert it into pixels. So no, it's no longer editable as text. You have to edit it as an image. I'm then going to go to my elliptical tool here and cover this 13th design, or half cover this 13th design. Drag out an area which half covers the 13th design or your text that you've got on your screen. I'm then going to click this little plus button right here in the layers, and it's going to add a new layer for me. I'm then going to go to my paint bucket tool again and select the second color that I want to choose, or that I want visible on my final project. And all I'm going to do with my new layer selected, paint bucket tool, and my lemon color right here selected, I'm going to left click an area into that elliptical shape that we've got, and it will just fill it in the color that you've selected. Okay, I'm going to go back, just select my move tool, and then on this 13th design right here, this layer right here, my original text layer, on the placeholder, so on this part here, I'm going to left click, command and left click on that placeholder. Then I'm going to select my layer, the top layer again. So now what you see on the screen, we've got the original text outlined with the new layer selected. I'm going to go to Edit in my tool menu at the top and Invert Select. I'm then going to click Backspace on my keyboard, and then this will get rid of the outer part of the elliptical tool. I'm then going to press Command D to deselect everything on my screen. Now, basically, what we've got this top layer, and if I moved it, it's just the fill of part of the elliptical shape that we just made, and we've also got our original text right here. Just going to press Command Z or Z on my keyboard to undo my last action and put that top layer back where it should be. Now, this top layer, or this layer, I'm going to call it Top Base 1. And I'll show you, or you'll see why later. This bottom, I'm going to call it Bottom Base 1. That's my bottom base layer, my bottom first base layer. Now, we're going to select this bottom base layer 1. Then we're going to get this elliptical tool again, and I'm going to try and match the outline or the shape of this original elliptical shape that I created. So you can see it's roughly right, it's roughly correct. There might be a little bit of an error here, but I'm not too fussed. But that's how I want it. And then all I'm going to do, with my bottom base layer selected, I'm going to press backspace on my keyboard. Now what this does, I can press Command D to deselect that. Now what this does is deletes the layer, or the part of the layer that we just had. So now you'd see that we've no longer got this layer, and we can make this really cool effect with this gap with our text in the middle. So we've got two-tone text with this nice cool gap in the middle, and that looks quite cool in itself. Now you might just have to use the arrow keys on your keyboard just to line things up a little bit and neaten things up a little bit, but that's easy. Now what we're going to do, we're going to get this top base layer, left click, Command left click on the actual placeholder of the top base layer, click plus to add new layer, go to our original background color, which was midnight, paint bucket tool, original background layer. We've got a new layer selected, left click, and it will fill this layer, or the top layer, with the original color. Press Command D to deselect, so you can just see the top base layer 1 visible below the layer at the top. So we're just going to double click this and call it top layer. Now you can see why that we rename things the way we do actually rename things. Just avoids confusion. We're going to go to our bottom base layer, on the placeholder again, Command left click, add a new layer, our midnight, paint bucket tool, midnight, left click, and this will add a new layer above our bottom base layer. So now I'm going to call this bottom layer. Now, with my top base 1 selected, I'm going to go to my effects browser. If your effects browser is not on your screen, press Command 3. I'm going to go to this Gaussian blur right here. Top base layer 1 selected. Double click Gaussian. Put it on around 5.8 pixels and click OK. Go to my bottom base layer. Double click Gaussian blur. Again 5.8 pixels and click OK. Now again, this looks very nice, but all I'm going to do with my bottom base layer selected, right click and duplicate. And I'm going to do with the top base 1 exactly the same. Select it, right click and duplicate. So now we've got 3 top layers. I'm going to highlight the top one, press shift on my keyboard, highlight the top base layer 1, so I've got 3 of them selected, right click and group those layers. Double click that group, rename it top. I'm going to go to my bottom layers, select the top bottom layer, shift on my keyboard, select the bottom layer, right click, group. Now you can merge them, but if you merge them and you make a mistake, you can't go back and edit things separately. I'm going to call this bottom, and as it stands at the moment, I can go back and edit things separately. So now I can get this top group and I can move it away a little bit if I want. Likewise with the bottom group, I can move it away a little bit if I want. But yeah, you see it's a fantastic effect, and it's really effective, really simple to do, and it looks really cool as well. So that's sort of glowing outlines, and you can even put them together if you want to. This is sort of glowing outlines, and like I said, you can use any colours, but just use the initial colours that you want as your base layers. So I hope this you've learned something in this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will catch you all again.